Alright, so this is lecture 29th, which discuss about the control theory for load compensation in continuation with the previous discussion. So in the previous discussion we have formulated the objective conditions for the compensator. That is, how to substitute the compensating powers in terms of the load powers. So if you remember, in the previous class we have three important conditions. Number one is the zero sequence power of the compensator, and then alpha beta power, and then Q alpha beta power. Okay. So the zero sequence power has to be equal to the zero sequence load power, so that the load does not experience any change when it is supplied. And as you know that PL0 has two parts, the average part and the oscillating part. So average part, the fundamental point is this: the average part compensator cannot supply. So it has to be taken from somewhere. So it is taken from the PF alpha beta term. Okay, so PF alpha beta is PL alpha beta tilde. Tilde means the oscillating component of PL alpha beta. Okay, and minus PL0 tilde bar. So bar basically means that it has to, the power has to be taken from source. So minus means it is taking power from source and it is pumped through this term PL0, through the zero sequence term. And minus P loss, this term I added in the last class also, which tells about that there are some losses in the inverter. For a practical inverter, the losses have to be taken into account, and therefore minus PL0 minus P loss. So these are real component of power, but they are very small actually. Okay, maybe 2%, 5%, 10%. And then this is equal to PL alpha beta minus delta P bar. So delta P bar is nothing but the real power corresponding to zero sequence average power and plus the P loss in the inverter. Okay, this is the P loss. The same I have explained in terms of diagram. You can see this is Q alpha beta, which circulates equal to Q alpha beta, and it circulates between the compensator here and the nonlinear load by this gray color loop, if you see. Okay, and at the load source side, what is the overall source power? The source power is equal to, must be equal to PL alpha beta bar. Basically it means that total average load power has to come from the source, and also the losses plus zero sequence power has to come from the load. So basically it is PL alpha beta bar plus PL0 bar plus P loss. Alright, so this is what has been explained to you, and therefore PS alpha beta equal to PL alpha beta here, this term, then plus PL0 average and P loss. So this is the whole real power that is being required in the system, and that has to come from the source. And zero sequence source power must be equal to 0 if you want the balance operation, as if there is no zero sequence current in the fourth wire, neutral wire of the system. I hope it is clear. Revise it again and again to make it more clear in your mind, and if you have any difficulty you can ask questions based on that. So once we set these currents as a objective for the compensator, and then we can find out what are the compensator currents. So next task is to find out what are the reference compensator currents. Okay, so that is done with the help of the inverse alpha beta 0 transformation. we use inverse alpha beta 0 transform. Before that, I also would like to tell you that you may ask question that from here we generate the P loss, the inverter losses. How the term P loss will be generated. The P loss generation is done through a PI controller or any other controller that is suitable to this particular action based on the DC link voltage error, that is EBDC equal to BDC ref minus BDC. So this is a DC link voltage for this inverter, this side, okay. It is being compared with the BDC ref minus BDC. So this is actual voltage. The difference is termed as the error in the voltage, EBDC. And this error is passed through a PI controller to generate the P loss. I will discuss this point in the next coming lectures. Right now, simply you understand that the generation of P loss happens through some controller. And this helps to maintain the DC link voltage constant to ensure that the inverter operates faithfully under all conditions. Alright, then once we know these PF0, once we set the value of PF0, PF alpha beta and QF alpha beta, then we transform back into the IF0. Actually this is IFA, this is not PF0 here. So I think I have to add another step. We need to correct this here. This is not one step, I have missed it here. It must be equal to IF0 star, you can say IF alpha beta and IF alpha and IF beta. This is alpha here and this is IF beta. How do we get IF0, IF alpha, IF beta? From the previous discussion, if you remember, okay, for a given value of PF0, recall the previous matrix, PF0 and PF alpha beta and QF alpha beta, we substitute these values here, this equation, and then there is a voltage matrix here. Do you recall that voltage matrix? This equal to nothing but IF0, IF alpha and IF beta. What is this matrix? We remember 1 by V0, 0, 0, 0, 0. This was B alpha by B alpha square plus B beta square. This was minus B beta by B alpha square plus B beta square. This was B beta by B alpha square plus B beta square, and this we have B alpha by B alpha square plus B beta square. Okay. So these powers of the compensators, which we set it here, okay, this one, they are being brought and substituted here, 1, 2, 3, and once we know this and once we know the voltages, then we find out IF0 and IF alpha and IF beta. Okay, and once we know these currents IF0, IF alpha, IF beta, then we can transform back them to IFA, IFB, IFC through inverse alpha beta 0 transformation. You know the inverse alpha beta 0 transformation is nothing but the inverse of alpha beta 0 matrix. If we take inverse of this, it comes with the same factor 2 by 3 and transpose of that matrix. So 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2 comes as a first column, then root minus half second column, and root 3 by 2 minus root by 3 is the third column. Earlier there were rows, now they are columns because of property of the inverse, will become transpose. So this property we already have proved that the inverse of alpha beta 0 transformation is equal to the transpose of the alpha beta 0 matrix. So same thing is happening here. And once we know these IF0, IF alpha, IFB and IFC, our job is done. It basically means that we have extracted, this is called extraction of reference compensator currents. Okay, for the given compensation characteristics, that is the objectives that we set for the compensator. So once we know IFA, IFB, IFC star, star means the reference value. Okay, so star reference the ideal value or reference value which is supposed to be injected. So you can see here that if this is the ideal compensator, okay, then IFA star, IFB star, IFC star means those quantities, IFB star, IFC star. So these IFA, IFB, IFC star are these currents as an ideal compensator. But to realize them, we need a practical compensator, a real power circuit that can synthesize those reference currents. So we have to use some circuit for the compensator to realize this, okay, and normally this is done with the help of the voltage source inverter. So this is realized with the help of voltage source inverter, which comprised of the DC link and the IGBT or MOSFET switches. The output of this converter is the AC, which goes to the point of common coupling. You can see here, this is the point of common coupling, PCC. And at the point of common coupling, this inverter injects the current IFA, IFB, IFC. This IFA, IFB, IFC. Okay. IFA, IFB, IFC are generated by having some switching control scheme and tracks these currents close proximity to IFA star, IFB star, IFC star. So basically what I am saying that IFA star, IFA follows IFA star. Similarly, IFB follows its reference IFB star, and IFC follows IFC star. How this follows? This follows by having certain switching control scheme. We will switch the each leg of the inverter. Let us say A phase leg, B phase leg, C phase leg. There are 3 legs. For this particular converter, there are 3 legs. Okay, so this is one leg, this is second leg, and this is the third leg. So each leg switches have been switched in such a way that they form IFA, which follows IFA star. It's called tracking of current. So IFA tracks IFA star, IFB tracks IFB star, IFC tracks IFC star. Okay, so do you understand? This IFA star is totally mathematical description, how to extract it. Once we have extracted, our next job is how to synthesize it, how to realize it. So for that, the actual power circuits are used. So what is that schematic that is being used to develop this whole compensation scheme? You can see in this diagram. So whatever we have discussed can be summarized in this form of control, which you see in the diagram. Okay, what do you see? There is a load which is unbalanced nonlinear load, and this is the source here. Okay, source is here, and there is a compensator. So this whole forms the compensator. From here to here is kind of a compensator. Correct? Voltage source inverter is here, which is taken from this. this voltage source inverter. Now you may ask that why I have chosen this topology. Okay, there are various topologies, of course. There are 3-phase 3-wire topology, then 3-phase 4-wire topology, inverter chopper topology, there's H-bridge topology. There are many are there. I have chosen this because it's very generic in nature and it can take care of AC and DC load compensation. That's why I have chosen this. Otherwise, you can take any of the voltage source inverter topology. But for understanding, we have chosen this, and it is most generic in nature. Now, once we have all these concepts, then the control works like this. We sense the quantities BSA, BSC, VSC by sensors, and ILA, ILV, ILC by current sensors, and then the information is passed to the active power filter algorithm. In the algorithm, it computes IFA star, IFB star, IFC star. How? The same that we have described just now. It first sets the objective for the compensator, what is PF0, what is PF alpha beta, what is QF alpha beta, then it finds the value of IF0 star, IF alpha star, IF beta star, then it computes IFA star, IFB star, IFC star. Okay. This also has an input of P loss because the losses in the inverter have to be taken into account. From the voltage regulator loop, it's important, by regulating the BDC close to B reference, we generate P loss. And P loss is being taken as an input for this active controller, and then it generates the IFA, IFB, IFC star here at this point. IFA, IFB, and IFC star. Then it is fed. The reference values are fed to the dynamic hysteresis current control, or simply hysteresis current control. So it is a basically switching control scheme. It could be hysteresis, it could be a PWM, it could be a SPWM, it could be anything. Different kind of switching schemes are there. Okay. So based on these reference values are compared with the actual values. These are actual values. These are reference values. They are being compared, and based on their comparison, the switching commands are generated. Switching commands are generated for the inverter. And then the inverter switches, and based on the switching, it makes the current IFA, IB, and IFC here, which are being injected at the point of common coupling here. Okay, and this part, the voltage regulator part, is nothing but we sense the value of VDC compared with the VD reference, and based on the reference through PI controller, we generate P loss. Okay, so this is the full schematic, complete schematic description of the control scheme of the compensator. So I hope it is clear. We will take one example first, and then we proceed further that how to model this inverter in the digital platform. Okay, or you have a simple, suppose you have MATLAB, by coding how can you make it to work for a load which is unbalanced and harmonics, and you wanted to show the utilities are perfectly clean in terms of the voltage and current. So that I will describe in the next section as state space modeling and its digital implementation. Okay, but before that, we will take one example, and based on that example, we will understand the above concepts that we have described and understood. So this example is 5.1, where a 3-phase 4-wire system is being considered. Okay, 3-phase 4-wire system. Okay, note down, which is supplied by 230 volt at 50 hertz, and the load impedances are 5 plus J8, B phase J4M, just like inductance, and third phase is minus J12. And using these parameters based on the instantaneous reactive power theory, we have to compute first the alpha beta components of these, second the various components of power like P alpha, P beta, P0, Q alpha beta and so on. Verify that P ABC is same as P alpha beta 0. You have done it many times, but once more you can verify, and Q ABC is same as Q alpha beta. Then compute the reference capacitor currents IFA, IB, IFC, or IF alpha first, IF 0 and IF beta, or IFA and IB, IFC, so that the source supplies the balance current to the to the load. So finally the source is experiencing a unity power factor operation, and currents are balanced and sinusoidal in phase with the voltages. Also check whether that the currents are balanced after compensation and are sinusoidal in phase with their respective voltages. This problem is actually quite laborious, but I simplified it to make it more analytical in nature so that you can solve with simply calculator, pen and paper without any difficulty. Okay, you need not to go for computer to simulate it, you can simply solve it. So simplification is that since we did not consider harmonics, there is only fundamental, and therefore we can handle this on phasor basis. So the computation becomes easy as compared to time domain computations. And the F part is check whether PS is equal to PL, QS is equal to 0, PFT is equal to 0, and QF equal to QS. This is very important. Instantaneous source power is equal to total average load power, PL here, and QS, instantaneous reactive power, equal to 0 of the source, and for active power for the capacitor equal to 0, and the reactive power of the capacitor is equal to the load reactive power. That's what we are working. This is the sole objective of the compensation scheme. What are sole objectives? That PS must be equal to PL. The rest of power should not come to PL. Actually, PL has two parts: PL average plus PL oscillating. This is also called PL, simply PL, this is PL oscillating. So this power has to come from the utility, not this power. This power has to be supplied by the compensator. We correct? So let us try to see how you can approach to solve this problem. So what we are given is these voltages actually, BSA, BSB, BSB. We can transform into time domain quantity because we know the RMS value. We can substitute here, and then we can find ILA, ILB, ILC by dividing the voltage by impedance in a complex in a phasor domain. So this is BSA in phasor domain, and this is the impedance for A, for B, for phase C, and accordingly we have currents IS, ILA, ILB, ILC, which are given here: 24.38 minus 58 amperes, this is 57.5, this is 19.16. After knowing these load currents, we can find out the alpha, beta and 0 components. To know the alpha, beta and 0 component, we must know first ABC components. So ABC we already know, so now we can transform to alpha, beta and 0. So B alpha or BS alpha is nothing but root 2 by 3. Use the alpha, beta, 0 transformation matrix. So root 2 by 3 BSA minus BSB by 2 minus BSB by C, BSC by 2. Simply substitute the value of this. You will see that for a balanced voltages, this is nothing but root 3 by 2 into B angle of 0, which is actually 281.7 angle of 0. B beta will comes out to be root 2 by 3, then this factor, and this from the matrix and it comes out to be 281.7 minus 90 degree, and BS0 is 0 because it's a balanced three-phase system. So these are the values of voltages in alpha beta domain, B alpha, B beta and B0. Similarly, we can find out the I alpha, IL beta, IL0, same concept. So this is IL alpha, IL beta, IL0, the value is 45.04 angle of minus 33, IL beta is 33.85 angle of 130, and IL0 is 30.85 minus 178. Please note here IL0 exists because it is a three-phase 4-wire system. So this zero sequence current flows in the fourth wire. Its value is 30.85 minus 178. It's quite high in magnitude. Theoretically, it must be equal to 0, but it is quite high, comparable with the phase values. Fine. Now, once we know the phasor quantities, we can construct into the time domain quantities by multiplying root 2 and adding sign. So you can write BSC directly, that into root 2 sin omega t, BS beta is magnitude into sin omega t minus 90 degree. Okay, the phase angle was 90 degree here, you can see here, this is minus 90 here. Okay, so the same phase angle, and this into root 2. So root 2 into 281.7 angle of minus 90 degree. And BS0 was 0, so it remains 0 here. I hope I am clear. Similarly, we can find out time domain expression for IL alpha, IL beta and IL0 by multiplying root 2 to the RMS value that we found earlier and adding the phase angle to omega t, sin omega t. So this is IL alpha, this is IL beta, this is IL0. Why I am writing these expressions, although I am not using them, just to tell you that they are equivalent to this, they are equal to this. But the computation I have not used this. The computation I have used phasor. You can see it here. Here, this one. I use phasor, not the instantaneous values, because it is difficult to simplify them. So first we transform into phasor because only one frequency is there, and then convert back into time domain. But it is equal to this value. However, it is not computed directly from these expressions. So we know now IL alpha, IL beta and IL0. We know BS alpha and BS beta and BS0. Then we can find out the other power components. So this is BS alpha, BS beta, BS0, IL alpha, IL beta, IL0. Okay. Now once we know, then the second part comes, B part, where we have to find the power components PL alpha, PL beta, PL0, PL alpha beta. These computations will give you a lot of confidence to experience what these terms stand for. Okay? So do it again and again unless you become more familiar with these concepts and these terms. So PL alpha, you remember, is equal to nothing but BS alpha into IL alpha. Okay. Now this is multiplication of 2 sine and simplifying into cos A minus B minus cos A plus B. Then we will get these expressions, which again says that cos 33 is, in terms of values, we get one DC value here, 10.61 minus 12.68 cos 2 omega t minus 33.27. So you see it has two parts. The one is average value of this part plus the oscillating part, this one. So this one is this and this one is this. So what is average value of PL alpha? Is capital PL alpha, this one, and this is average value, 10.61 kilowatt. What is the oscillating value of PL alpha? Is PL alpha tilde which is this part. So minus 12.68 cos 2 omega t minus 33.27. Then in a similar way we can find out the value of PL beta, which is product of B alpha B beta into I beta. Substitute these values here, simplify them to cos form, and substitute in terms of the replace in terms of DC and AC component. So this becomes minus 7.64 and minus 10.09 cos of 2 omega t plus 40.89. You see, very interesting thing that here the power is negative actually. The real power is negative. What is the meaning of that? Okay, this power is negative. And this is oscillating power here. The negative power says actually that this beta phase is pumping back this power into somewhere in other circuit. It is not taking, it is giving back. It may happen in active power filters. That's how we come to the active power filters. We could not do this, we could not realize this negative power in passive compensator. Then we'll end up saying that, well, it is possible to realize this negative power with the help of the active power filter. So you can see the minus sign here. Okay. So minus sign means it is giving this real power, real voltage to some related circuit. Alright, so the average value of therefore this PL beta is minus 7.63 and the oscillating value is minus 10.09 cos 2 omega t plus 40.89. Okay. What about PL alpha beta? PL alpha beta is sum of PL alpha plus PL beta. So we can add these two quantities, DC to DC. It becomes 2.97. And if we add this and this one, this term, and this term, alpha, this term. So adding this PL alpha plus PL beta actually becomes PL alpha beta oscillating. So therefore PL alpha beta, if we add, so this is PL alpha beta oscillating and this is PL alpha beta average value. Okay, so this is the average value of PF alpha beta. You can see it here, 2.97. And the oscillating value of PL alpha beta is 18.24 cos omega t plus 178.86 kilowatt. Should be in kVA actually, but this is just a active power, so it be just noted by kilowatt, time varying component. And zero sequence power is 0 because BS0 is 0, although IL0 is not 0, but BS0 is 0. So because of this BS0, which is 0, not because of IL0, this is not equal to 0. But finally, because of this zero sequence voltage is 0, it becomes 0. Okay, so now we know what are the PL alpha, PL beta, and QL alpha beta. We have to find out still, and we have found out also the zero sequence power PL0, which is 0. Now let us find out QL alpha beta. Okay, because we need these components when we want to implement this. So QL alpha beta is B alpha into I beta minus B beta into I alpha by cross product definition of voltage and current vectors. Simplify them, substitute the value of alpha and beta components of voltage and currents and see what do we get. If we multiply these terms and correct the coefficient sign, and cos sign into sign becomes cos A minus B minus cos A plus B, and simplify them, then we will get the two terms here. Sorry, this first term and the second term, 2 to 4 terms. Combine the real part is minus 6.61 and combine these cosine forms, two forms together, then it become this term. So finally, this is the value of oscillating value and this is term of the average value. So But I'm saying QL alpha beta bar is nothing but minus 13.57, and QL alpha beta oscillating equal to this whole thing, minus 18.24 and so on, is the value of oscillating QL alpha beta. You can also verify that three-phase power, okay, that is P three-phase equal to P alpha plus P beta plus P0 is 2.97, and if you see the reactive power QL alpha beta is minus 13.57. Okay, so these are the load powers for a given parameters. We can also verify these powers with the help of cosine and sine terms, that P three phase equal to BA into IA cos phi A and so on, and you can see that these current values are matching with the these calculated terms. So this is matching with this and this is matching with this. So that's simply same kind of calculation but in different way. The values should be same, obviously. Okay, so we found that P3 phase real power equal to PABC equal to P alpha beta 0 equal to 2.97 kilowatt, and Q3 phase equal to QABC equal to Q alpha beta equal to minus 13.57 kilowatts. All right. Then the next question was that compute the reference currents for the compensator so that the source current after compensation are balanced, sinusoidal, and are in phase with the respective source voltages. So for that, these are objectives being set. Number one, Pf0 must be equal to PL0, Pf alpha beta have to be equal to PL alpha beta tilde. Okay, so which is nothing but this one by simplifying, and Qf alpha beta nothing but Ql alpha beta will just be found equal to this value. These values are substituted for the compensator powers. Actually here it should be PL alpha beta, PL alpha beta tilde, okay, minus P0 minus P loss. Since we are not considering the actual circuit, so P loss is 0, ideal compensator, and P0 is also 0 because there is no zero sequence voltage. So PL0 is also 0. So therefore, the PF alpha beta becomes, PF alpha beta becomes QPL alpha beta tilde. Okay, this is tilde part, oscillating part. So now we know Pf0, Pf alpha beta, Qf alpha beta. We can find If0, If alpha, If beta. Why? The matrix that we have used for correlating power and current component. I hope you remember. This side is Pf0. This is Pf alpha beta, Qf alpha beta. This is one column, and the voltage matrix here equal to If0, If alpha, and If beta. So you remember this matrix 1 by V0, 0, 0, fill those matrix, this here, this here. Same thing is being used here directly. So by substituting these values, we find this is IL0. It's a slightly more calculation. Please do yourself. Do not trust my values. So unless you do yourself, you will not have any idea how they are being computed. Okay? Give some time to it because it is slightly more calculation is involved in that simplification. So you need to do that. Okay. Yeah, so I was saying that it needs a lot of computations to reach those expressions. It will take fairly good time, maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes for each term to understand them properly. So do it yourself to experience how much steps are being involved in that. So once we know IF0, IF alpha, IF beta, then we can compute by inverse alpha beta 0 transformation IF A, IF B, IF C. And once we know IF A, IF B, IF C, then we can find out ISA, ISB, ISC. Why? Using Kirchhoff current law at the point of common coupling, because ISA is nothing but ILA minus IFA on phasor basis. Okay. Actually, all these computations are being done on phasor basis because there is only one frequency involved. And then you convert back into time domain. So these are ISAs, ISB, ISC. You see that their amplitudes are same and their phase displacement is minus 120 and plus 120. So after compensation, we get the balance and sinusoidal current in phase with the respective voltages. Fine. Then we can further compute the PS, QS, PF and QF. So you can see here that this is the PS 2.97, which is equal to PL. QS we compute with the help of this expression, it is equal to 0, which must be 0 of course, because the source should not supply any reactive power to maintain the unity power factor. And PF equal to 0. The source should not have any active power. So PF equal to 0. And QF equal to QL. And this is what we are supposed to verify, that compensation schemes works well and it involves the correct power replacement of the load, which is not desired to be compensated from the source. So all these undesired component power are being redirected to the compensator and between the load. So this power flows between the compensator and the load. The rest average power comes from the source. Okay. So this is the example 5.1. Solve it 1 or 2 times to get complete idea about this. And in the next class, I will start with the state space modeling of the inverter and how we can implement it on the digital platform.